Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Zara Felrose here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go Battle League content. Now, before we get started, you may notice I have hit Expert. That's right, I achieved it last week in the Master League after coming up with an absolute banger of a team, and I climbed over almost 400 points in just a few short days. So, a little bit late in my rotation to share a video on that, unfortunately, so I will be keeping that one under wraps until next season. And if you want to know about that team and any other teams before they hit YouTube, you can join my Patreon, link in the description. Early access to my teams, all my meta tips, guides, coaching, etc. can be found there. But now this week, we're going to be covering my best team for the Sinnoh Cup, at least this early in the meta. So you'll see here we've got Drifblim, Double Steel. So Drifblim X is our kind of anti-ground, anti-fighter with the two steals in the back to either perform a sack swap or perform the safe swap and or close with one or the other. Magnezone here featured is our closer, and Empoleon is the safe switch here. Only time I think I would safe switch into Magnezone is if we had a Probopass or a Bastiodon on the lead. But we haven't encountered many of those, thankfully, because everybody else is trying to counter them. So, without further ado, let's hit up these videos and see just how this team functions here in the Sinnoh Cup. So we're getting into battle number one here. We've got Drifblim in the lead versus a Toxicroak. Dominating matchup, and I know immediately I need to keep my switch alignment here. So they're going to come with Frostless. I'll counter with my Empoleon. Technically, I could tank one move here, but I'm going to put both shields down on the table to guarantee that I don't lose switch, and I'm just going to put both shields in after lagging a bit and waterfall all the way down if I can. Now I know, because I know that this Frostlass is going to try to shield in kind, so I would rather throw these waterfalls at the thing that comes back in afterwards. So just going to waterfall all the way down. We're going to get there, and we're going to be able to throw a ton of energy back into this Toxicroak here. Empoleon is just incredible at being able to just waterfall through things, and that's two drill pecks and then some. We're going to be able to hammer off on this thing, and that's why it's so dangerous to deal with Empoleon if you don't have a direct hard counter to it. Look, it's going to be able to even take out the Toxicroak all on its own. Empoleon is carrying the team on its back. Now I mistakenly go for a Hydro Cannon here, just figuring I would get some chip damage off of whatever came in anyway. But now I go ahead and I switch into Drifblim here to try and get this thing to throw energy, and since it's my opponent's last Pokemon, I want to guarantee some attack debuffs with the Icy Winds here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those. I didn't come in with Magnezone right away because they have a shield, because they have energy, and even an Abomasnow's resisted damage against a Magnezone is not going to feel too great. So I would rather get those attack debuffs and just guarantee myself the game here. I'm going to be able to get one more Icy Wind in, which is really nice, to get at least a second debuff on this Abomasnow before my Magnezone can come in and just guarantee with one mirror shot the game. So my opponent concedes the match at this point, and that's going to be a good game. Next battle here. Now I had to cut up these first few battles here because of all the lag and horrible things that I was getting. So you're going to see some battles here in the daytime, and then I did one final set at nighttime after taking a break and went just 5-0 streak. So this team did really well for me. Now my opponent builds up some energy and tries to catch a Hydro Cannon on their own Empoleon, which I would have thrown into it anyway, so either way it works out. I'm good here with just getting as much damage off on this Empoleon and trying to keep a shield advantage, just because I know that a Drifblim with energy or a Magnezone with energy is going to destroy the Drifblim here, and they do decide to let it go, or they do decide to put up a shield after letting the first one go. So I'm just going to waterfall down. Unfortunately, my opponent is in the range that they're able to get 4 waterfalls off on me before I can do anything about it. So what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to come in with my Drifblim and just kind of farm this thing all the way down to make sure that I can threaten my opponent's Drifblim with a water or with an Icy Wind or a Shadow Ball. And I'm able to farm down here, so I'm going to throw this Icy Wind at the Drifblim that's likely to come back in here, just to be able to guarantee here that we hit it for some big damage. And I'm not going to, it's a little kaboom. It's not big. You're going to get some big kabooms later, don't worry. I just wanted to hit the button. They're going to hit me with the Icy Wind. I look to catch the Icy Wind here, and they come in with Lucario. So all I can really do here is I'm going to go for this wild charge, and I'm going to pop off one of their shields. There's no way they don't shield this, right? This has got to be, yeah, that's it. There's the shield right there. So my only win condition here is getting to the Shadow Ball, which my opponent has so much energy, I have to double shield this and somehow have enough HP afterwards to be able to get one Hex off on the Empoleon. So my opponent throws right away here, and I know it's a pup. I don't know actually how much damage this triple resisted pup is going to do, but it's actually going to do almost nothing. But my opponent here, I'm over farming a bit, and I throw the Icy Wind because I want to be able to throw a move on the Empoleon to guarantee, and that was the mistake that I made here. So I should have just gone straight for the Shadow Ball here. I may have forgotten, and I undercharged too, hoping to get one more Hex off, but it wasn't enough. So that's going to be it. Good game to my opponent. I kind of misplayed myself into that loss there, but that's okay. I was kind of learning the team in that first couple battles here. So we get a Roserade lead in the next battle here. Another great lead for Drifblim, whether it's rocking Bullet Seed or Poison Jab. They come in with a Frostlass. I stay in a little bit too long here to try and get an Icy Wind off. My opponent's probably not going to shield this anyway. But what this now allows me to do is I can guarantee that I'm going to be able to waterfall down with at least 1 or 2 shields. And I can even soak a move here, which is what I plan to do. My opponent either baits or they land a Shadow Ball, and it's a debuff Shadow Ball, so honestly, it's not going to do too much damage. And I kaboom my opponents for half HP, but I don't kaboom myself. So I'm going to shield here just in case. I should have shielded the first one, but I mean, they got me with an Avalanche, but it's fine. I guaranteed my switch clock, or I'm guaranteed to keep switch alignment here, and I've got some energy against the Empoleon that now comes in. And they sneak a move through, unfortunate, but that's how the game is supposed to work when it's working, so I'll roll with it, right? So I'm looking to get another Hydro Cannon off before I go down, which is good. They get another one in. That's fine. I accept that in this case. Alright. Opponent takes me out. I'm going to come in here with my Magnezone. I'm going to probably... I'm going to shield this up, right? No, I let this go. And I'm going to look to just get off this mirror shot here against the Empoleon and try and just take it out. I wanted to be able to soak that damage on the Magnezone just to make sure that I was able to have a healthy Drifblim to deal with their Roserade. Because, honestly, like, yeah, I could have my Magnezone against the Roserade, but having to tank a Weather Ball is much less ideal than having to take a Hydro Cannon, because just no thanks. And that also allows me to be able to use Icy Winds to debuff my opponent's attack, which will also allow me to in-kind kaboom. So we're going to go for a little Icy Wind here. You're going to be afraid, be very afraid, because Drifblim hurts. Icy Winds hurt. Here we go. Gonna take out this Roserade with one single Icy Wind. There it goes. We take it out. We take the game. Good game to my opponent. Alright, next battle here, we've got our Drifblim against an Empoleon lead. Now, you've seen the same, like, 4 or 5 Pokemon this whole cup, so I'm going to safe switch immediately into my own Empoleon there. I draw out a Toxicroak, which is, again, ideal. So, this time we see MP tie. Normally, I've started to shield this to be able to bring this down into the 1 shields so that I can get a better farm on my Drifblim and not have to take so much damage while doing it. But this is what I want to do. I want to draw out thing that my Drifblim can farm down, and I no-charge this because I want to farm this all the way down and come out with 100 energy on my Drifblim to threaten the Empoleon that's likely to come back out afterwards. So they get to get off a Sludge Bomb again because it's debuffed. That's not going to hurt, but they're going to be able to get a few off and actually start to get me kind of low on HP to the point where I need to worry a bit. But again, this is like the Gastrodons, the Toxicroaks. You just look to draw them out and then farm them all the way down with Drifblim, and there's almost nothing in this meta that can deal with a Drifblim with 100 energy. It just doesn't happen. So I'm going to fire off this Shadow Ball. My opponent with 2 shields is probably going to shield this move here. Yeah, they do, quite smartly. And I'm going to come straight in with my Magnezone. I'm going to see what they've got in the back because I know my Drifblim still got some energy. And they come in with a Gliscor, which actually kind of scares me. That ground typing on Gliscor is going to resist my wild charges. But, I mean, Magnezone's a powerhouse. Look at how much this wild charge does. Almost half of its HP. So, they're going to get me with a Night Slash. There's no reason to shield this at this point. I'm in a pretty good spot. I can get another wild charge off, and I'm either going to be able to force their last shield, or I'm going to be able to take them out just about. And they let it go. They're out just a teensy-weensy bit of health, and wait, whether they get to a Night Slash or not, no, they cannot get to the Night Slash. I'm going to have an extra bit of energy there on my Frost, or on my Drifblim. I'm going to go for double Shadow Ball here. I've got a shield. They've got a shield. I know I can get to it before they do. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw. They're not going to, they're not going to let it go. They're going to shield. They're going to try and get there, but I think they lagged out at the end here because they stopped attacking. I think they knew it was over. So as always, good game to my opponent. I did the little trick to see if they were, doing the stall thing or whatever, but no, they just quit. So good game. As always, it was fun battles. The RPS meta here is you either win hard or you lose hard, it seems. Now, Gastrodon, another ideal lead, one of those that you can, it's like Toxicroak. They'll get scared off and they'll come back in later to farm something else down. So they've drawn out my Empoleon. Now, the thing with Empoleon is if I call the bait correctly, we can farm it all the way down and or land one Hydro Cannon if they let me. Now, because they shielded this, I know that this is probably a Bulldoze because they want to shield to guarantee they get the move off, and they don't know if they survive it. So I'm going to shield the Bulldoze in kind here, and then look to continue powering down with the waterfall damage. I'm going to try and get this next Hydro Cannon off because I know I get there before they should be able to get to a Bulldoze. Going to go ahead and fire off the Hydro Cannon. Hopefully my opponent doesn't shield. They do not, so we are able to win switch here. And then the Gastrodon comes in. They're going to be able to farm down my Empoleon just before I get to a Hydro Cannon. So not ideal, but I'm going to be able to come in with Drifblim. They come in with a Bastiodon. This is a little scary because my Empoleon's off the table now. But Bastiodon is going to learn how hard it is to tangle with a Magnezone after its attack's been debuffed. Even without an attack debuff, Magnezone technically wins this matchup, as long as it's a fresh matchup, I believe. But this is a not fresh matchup because the Bastiodon has a little bit of a advantage here on me in that they had a move. So they've also got a shield now, so I'm going to look to start whipping off wild charges. Now my opponent, whether they let this go or not is up to them. They do let this one go, and they realize now that they have to shield one. I'm going to go for the Mirror Shot bait here, hoping to get a shield or put them in range for that wild charge to come through. They shield the Mirror Shot bait, which means I'm going to be able to get to this wild charge just before they get to the move. And I'm going to be able to finish off this Bastiodon. The Gastrodon's going to come back in and take out so much of my health it made me cry. But Drifblim's all we got left, and that hard wall is the Gastrodon, and they have nothing they can do. Good game. Alright, next battle, Togekiss. This is literally the only Togekiss I've seen this whole time. So, I instantly switch into Empoleon. I've got a double steel backline. I'm not going to be able to flip switch here. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the Drill Peck. My opponent does not get to the Mud Bomb in time to CMP tie me. So, I'm going to be able to get this Drill Peck off. And they let it go through. It hurt. That's good. So, this is actually incredibly good for me. Now I have switched, but my opponent's running double fighter. So this is actually really good for me, but it's also really scary. So I have to be able to double shield this Lucario and hope that they're not going to bait me, which I know they're going to, but I can't not bait this, right? Because if they do hit me with the Shadow Ball, I lose immediately and there's nothing I can do about it, right? So I'm looking to get off an Icy Wind here, maybe get their shields back in kind. They're going to let it go like 5-head champions, so I'm just going to look shield here and farm it down, and I'm going to be able to start putting Icy Winds onto the Togekiss here, which they're going to see that I've got Magnezone, and they got nothing they can do about it. So yeah, this is basically a good game. I'm going to be able to get to the mirror shots. I don't even need to go for wild charge here. I'm just looking to time my moves correctly so they don't sneak any free charms through, because I do not have any shields and I cannot let them get to a move here. So you're going to go for another mirror shot, and then all I have to do is get a spark or two off on the Lucario, and that is going to be a good game. So Magnezone coming in, sweeping teams. That's what it's been doing for me this entire time I've been running this team. Magnezone has core broken so many things. It's actually kind of nuts. So getting into the last set here, I have got a 5-0 run for the rest of this video. This is going to be some fun battles here. There's Gastrodon into Gallade. So unfortunately, I do need to keep my Drifblim aligned to the Gastrodon, but that Gallade is super scary. I'm going to go ahead and throw an Icy Wind here. They are going to shield, and I'm going to instantly swap to Empoleon. At this point, I'm looking to commit 2 shields to farm it all the way down here, because I don't want to risk even a debuffed close combat will still take me out for sure. So yes, I know that they're going to bait me with a Leaf Blade. I'm not taking a chance here. They're going to be able to get to the close combat just before I'm able to get to one more waterfall to take them out, and I have to shield because they're at 4 for a close combat. So well played by my opponent in getting that in there. But now they're going to come with the Gastrodon. I've successfully flipped switch, and I'm going to be able to farm whatever, this Gastrodon all the way down with Drifblim if they don't swap out, but they're already going to have to eat over 2 Hydro Cannons, which means they're either going to have to shield or they're going to be out of their last mon. So, going to go ahead and throw this Hydro Cannon, and my opponent's going to shield. I'm going to be able to get a few more of my waterfalls off here to get it just barely low enough, or just barely any health left. They've got Bastiodon. This is going to be a close one, ladies and gentlemen. There are no shields left on the field here, and they've got a full health Bastiodon. Now, what I have to do here is I have to soak a move before I debuff myself, and then I have to throw the wild charges afterwards. So I'm going to look to tank this flamethrower, and I know immediately that there's no way I'm going to be able to get to the third wild charge. Sucks, but that's how it is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these 2 wild charges, and then I'm going to hope that my Drifblim, I'm counting their moves. They should be at 2 here, I believe. And they're going to be able to get to 3 just before I go down. That's 3. So I need to get 4 hexes into that Shadow Ball before they can get to that move. And that's going to be it. There's the 4th one. Just in time, we get the Shadow Ball to seal the fate of this game on a CMP tie. Good game. That was a close one. Because, I mean, the Gastrodon comes in with one hit from being taken out. It tickles. Like, I knew that there was nothing they could do with the Gastrodon. So, good game to my opponent. That was actually a pretty close game. Alright. Next battle here. We've got Drifblim on the lead versus Drapion. I don't like this at all. I got to get the heck out of here. I'm going to go straight to my Empoleon save swap, and I'm going to start waterfalling, getting Henna energy. My opponent's not swapping out. I'm thinking that they might not have that RPS answer to Empoleon off the bat, so I'm going to shield this to preserve the HP on my Empoleon and let them swap out, and they come in with Bibarel. Now, Bibarel's not really a counter to Empoleon, so, yeah, gonna throw this Drill Peck at it. They're gonna shield the first one here. I'm gonna be able to get to this next one, and I know that the opponent's running Surf and probably Hyper Fang or Hyper Beam, so they're going to be throwing resisted damage at me. I am going to be able to flip switch here and keep the Drapion away from my Drifblim here. I'm going to let this go because I'm not afraid of a Surf or even a Hyper Fang at this point. And I know that I'm going to be able to farm down and take switch. Now, ooh, they do get to a move here. I do have to make a decision on whether or not I can tank this Surf or not. I do let it go, and I'm not able to get it. Unfortunately, not going to be able to flip switch here, but I do come with Magnezone to farm down and start getting kind of energy. Now, because of this, and they come in with the Drapion, I know that they don't have a counter to Magnezone in the back. There's no way they would have come in with Drapion, a poison type, against a steel type, unless they had something to deal with it with. So they shield the Mirror Shot bait. Now I'm just going to go straight for the Wild Charge. I will tank this Crunch, I believe, because I know that nothing that this Drapion has is going to be able to take me out. And they were energy dry when they came in. So I'm going to be able to go to this Wild Charge and then quickly switch out to Drifblim. I imagine because they're running a Dark type on the lead, they're probably weak to Drifblim in the back. So they have a Drifblim in the back, and they concede because Drifblim with one shield can take out Drifblim with no shields quite easily. So Frostlass lead. This is a bad lead. I got to get out of here because I got pace and I don't want to deal with this. So I'm going to go straight to Empoleon. And my opponent comes in with Toxicroak. Again, the team doing exactly what it's designed to do here. Draw out the Toxicroak, that hard counter to the Magnezone. We're going to look to get this Drill Peck off here. They do shield this one. And because they did that, they're also going to be able to farm me all the way down. Unfortunate, but their energy is going to be going nowhere against Drifblim, who now comes in and is going to farm it all the way down. Now, I would like you to note the setup here is that Drifblim's going to come out with this with 100 energy. They're going to have a Frostlass that is 1 shield to my 2 shields. There is absolutely no way that they can safely come into this matchup with Frostlass, so either I'm going to find out what's in the back, or that Frostlass is going to take a Shadow Ball to its face. So we're going to come in with, they're going to come back in, oh, they're going to be able to get to a move, so I do have to shield this, unfortunately. So it's still 1 shield to 1 shield. My opponent's Frostlass has like maybe 2 or 3 Powder Snow's worth of energy. They come with Frostlass on a quick swap in, so now they're locked in here. I think they're looking to sack this thing, and they're going to get it. Oh, no! It didn't get it. I threw it too early. I'm so sorry. I lied to you all. There was one battle that I had last night that the Frostlass just came in and ate a Shadow Ball to the face. But they've got no shields left. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to get a redemption on that Kaboom. There it goes. Hit that Wild Charge off, and they're going to come back in with the Drapion now. A Shadow Drapion is going to eat this Wild Charge. This is going to hurt just as bad, if not worse, than it hurt that Frostlass. More redemption. More redemption. I'm going to let this go. And all I've got to do now is I've got to be able to come in and farm down with Drifblim or look this Icy Wind off on whatever's in the back, which is going to be that Toxicroak with almost no HP, and that is going to be a well-played, good game to my opponent. It's a lot closer than it looked. Alright. Next battle here. Bibarel on the lead. This is a horrible, horrible matchup that completely walled me. I have to get out of this immediately. Well, there looks to be some lag here. My opponent does get some moves off, though, so we didn't necessarily lag. Once again, we bring in a Toxicroak. So here we go. This team is doing exactly what it needs to do. Now, this, I think, is when I started to bring it into the one shield, and you're going to see why. So it's just like I said here. I'm going to be able to get a shield, but I'm either going to flip switch or I'm going to be able to get my Drifblim a ton of farm to be able to deal with whatever else is in this game. So that Drill Peck is going to get a shield. They're going to farm me the rest of the way down, which is fine. And my Drifblim's now going to come in and farm them all the way down in kind. And now, because they don't have an entire farm down on my Empoleon, they're not going to be able to do nearly as much damage to me as that last Toxicroak did. So what we're going to see is my Drifblim's going to be much, much, much healthier as it comes out of this matchup with, again, 100 energy. So you're going to throw another Sludge Bomb here. That's fine. I resist that. I'm not worried about it. And Bibarel is going to come back in. But I do decide to make a quick swap in with my Magnezone and get ahead on energy. And they've got a Drifblim in the back. Now, it's interesting. So my win condition here is to get to 3 Wild Charges against all of what they've got here. So I'm going to be able to get this shield off. I have to respect the Shadow Ball. If I eat a Shadow Ball, I lose the game. So now what I got to do is get 2 of these Wild Charges off before my opponent can get to the next move. And what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to sweep, sweep, sweep. They let the Wild Charge through. Now all I need to do is get to another Wild Charge just in time for this Bibarel not to water gun me down, but my defense is going to be debuffed 4 times. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be really close. They've got a shield. They use it just in time. We're able to get to the Wild Charge. We're going to be able to hit this Bibarel for massive damage. Does it one-shot? It one-shots the Bibarel, and that's going to be a good game. Magnezone completely owning this Sinnoh Cup here. All right. Next battle, we've got Drifblim against a Frostlass. So once again, this is not a great lead here. I want to dip immediately into Empoleon, and then we're going to come in with a Gastrodon. And honestly, you know, it's an RPS meta, but it's the same, like, 5 things. You know, you see Frostlass, you see Toxicroak, you see Gastrodon, and you see just the same thing over and over again. So these matchups are not so hard as it seems. We found the right spice to be able to take care of this meta quite quickly here. So this is an easier farm down than Toxicroak because there's nothing this Gastrodon can do. It's going to throw 2 or 3 body slams at me before it goes down. Look, it did nothing at all. You couldn't tickle Drifblim even harder if you tried. So Gastrodon, I know you got some place in this meta, but not against this. So annoyingly going to farm it all the way down. It is stalling very well. Getting whatever chip damage it can in, and then Frostlass comes in. Look at this, 1 shield to 2 Shadow Balls. It's gonna go off. This is where it happens. They just let it go. That's the battle that I had in my head there in the last. So you get redemption for that missed Kaboom there. Now they've got 1 shield left to my 2 shields, and they've got a Drapion that is currently locked in here, and they're gonna be starting to eat these Icy Winds, and they're not gonna like it. So Icy Wind comes through. I'm going to come in with Magnezone to attempt to start the sweep. Now, Drapion is a little bit squishy, and it has an attack debuff, so I have a no rush to shield right now as they throw a debuffed Aqua Tail at me. Now, I'm going to build up to the Wild Charge and a little bit further. I will shield this just to preserve some HP on my Magnezone here. And they're going to come in with Gastrodon. I'm going to Mirror Shot. They caught a Mirror Shot. That's all they caught. And they give up. I think they understood that they lost there, so... Very good games there. This team is absolutely ripping the meta apart. Magnezone is breaking all kinds of cores once you get the Gastrodon or the Toxicroak out of the way. As you've seen today, it's just wild. Wild Charge. Haha. So getting up to 2,847 elo, inching ever closer to Legend here. And, man, me and my patrons have been whooping complete butt with this team. Now, I already mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but just in case you decided to stick around this long, I wanted to just say a quick thank you for your viewers, for your viewership, your support, and any of you who did decide to join the Patreon. You guys mean the world to me. All of you, Patreon subscribers and non-Patreon subscribers. Everything that I've been able to achieve so far, and I'm hoping to do even more, has just been thanks to all of you who are watching and who have subscribed and come to support me on the Patreon. But speaking of the Patreon, real quick plug, again, thanks to you guys who have subscribed. I couldn't be doing this without you guys. Again, if you want to get early access to my videos, teams, tips, meta, all the things under the sun that I could possibly teach somebody, link in the description for that, as well as my other socials here. And with that, I bid you all adieu, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.